This is Shirley Sando, and I host the Southern Gal's Kitchen. You can watch my show on Mupo TV on Sunday afternoons at 3, or you can go to Mupo TV and watch all the ones. I have all of season 1 up. I'm working on season 2. But I want to make this short little video for you right now. I want to talk about what I did today, basically. I am out in my garden, and it is January. It's really cold out here. The wind's cold. It's snow on the ground, and I want you to look at all this rosemary I still have. It is amazing. I'm going to cut it here in a minute and take it in and talk to you about drying it. And I still have thyme. Lots of green thyme. I'm going to cut that. I have parsley, but I'll probably cut it and dry some of it, but it's wilting back with the cold weather. It's got, you see the snow back there on it. And I have, there's lots of leaves on the oregano, but I still have quite a bit of oregano. There's some leaves that blown in on it. And I have sage. I have sage, which is still growing in the snow. Now it will die away, but the thyme will come back. I've had sage come back, but I generally plant it every year. I'm going to pick this sage and make a sheet pan dish for you, and I'm going to use fresh sage in it. I got this much rosemary. That's a lot, and rosemary will grow around here. I've noticed till it gets about 17, 18 degrees, then it will start, stop growing and start freezing. But it comes back every year, so I'm okay with it. This is not washed yet. I cut sage, as I showed you. Didn't get a lot of sage, but I got enough to make my crust that I want to make for my tomato slab. It's a sheet pan dish. It's a tomato as a crust and put little cherry tomatoes. I'm going to do a cooking show on that, so you can watch that later. But I used sage in the crust, so I went out, and the sage wasn't going to last much longer anyway, so I went ahead and picked it. There's some leaves in there. I haven't washed it yet. I will wash all of this, and then I'll put it in my dehydrator and dry it. And I've got quite a bit of thyme that I got this morning. So what I do, I'll wash everything up. I will put these, if the stems are too long, some of these are too long, like that one's giant, I will cut these in half and dehydrate them on about 138 to 40. A lot of times I'll just leave it run overnight. The sage, I will just wash these. I'll put the whole stem on. They get dry, then I can pick the leaves off. Thyme, you can kind of crush it up after it's dry. You want them really dry, and then you can just crush the leaves off of those and get rid of it. I dehydrate celery. I dehydrate peppermint. I've got peppermint tea that's on the cook right now. I've got it steaming my teapot. This is the last of my peppermint from my garden dehydrated. So next year, I guess I need to dehydrate more because I've used it all. And it's not making right now. It's too cold. I dehydrate tomatoes, and I make tomato powder. And I've got a little, it's like a coffee grinder. You buy them, they're inexpensive. And I use this for nothing but dried herbs. That's all I use it for. And I'll take my herbs after they're really dry, one at a time, and I'll put them in here a little bit at a time, the leaves that are dried and whatever. And just blend them up. It'll turn it into a powder, pretty much a powder. And then I'll store them in my little glass jars or containers. I dehydrate tomatoes in the summer. You can do tomato skins. Instead of throwing them away, you can dehydrate them and get them really dry and very, very crispy. I might have to show you how to do that sometime. And then you can get those dried and grind them up and turn them into a powder. You can dehydrate pumpkin. I dehydrate, like I said, celery. I'm going to show you how I do the celery here. And the reason I like to dehydrate celery, I like to buy organic. Celery is one of those things like strawberries, blueberries, blackberries. They call them raspberries. They call them the dirty fruits because they have a lot of pesticides on them. Well, celery can be that way too. So I buy the organic celery in the store, and because I won't use all this, I've washed this, but I won't use it all before it goes bad, so I'll dehydrate what I don't use. Then I have dehydrated celery pieces for soups, stir fries, and things like that. So I just cut off the ends, cut off the bottom, and then I'll wash these again just to make sure they're really clean on the inside. I do usually 2 bunches at a time. I'll get 2 bags of celery and get at least 2 or 3 bunches. Once it's dehydrated, it's dry, but I like to keep my dried things like that in the freezer. Not my herbs, because they really dry. But vegetables, if there's any moisture left in there at all, they're going to mold on you. And I just feel more comfortable myself going ahead and keeping them in a bag. And like I said, for soups and stir fries and things, I just pull out what I want. And dried some, and this is very dry, but I'm still going to put it in the bag in the freezer. Some of it will turn a little yellow, but that's okay. It's just dry, just crunchy. And I've got celery for whatever I want. It rehydrates, and it's just awesome. That way you don't have to buy celery and then you use some of it and then it runs. When I get celery, what I don't use, I always dehydrate it. Kale is the same way. When I'll buy a big bag of kale, I'll use a little bit of it for something. I will wash the rest of it, break it up in pieces, and even big pieces, and I'll dehydrate it. And then I'll keep it in my freezer. If I need a little bit of kale to throw in some soup, which I like, then I just stick it right in there. So I'll cut this in little pieces, and it will go right on the dehydrator. And it will stay overnight for sure, because it's you want it really dry. But again, I still refrigerate it. I freeze it, I mean. I don't refrigerate it, I freeze it. But that's really all there is to say. I'm going to finish cutting this up. And I hope you try drying some herbs. Something else that I dry, and this my dehydrator's running. I have the round dehydrator. It has trays, and I have 6 trays tall. And you can run 6 trays at a time. So I had cornbread that I made, and we never eat the whole pan of cornbread, but I will even break it up and dehydrate it. Then I'll stick this in a little bag. It takes up little to no room, and I do bread the same way. Keep it, then you can make dressings and stuffings or stuffed pork chops or whatever you want to do with it. That way you've got it. You know, you can buy dried stuff for dressing like this, but why waste? People throw away so much food. You have cornbread and you don't eat it all. Unless you got a big family, you generally won't eat it all. And people just throw it away, or they throw away their kale, or they throw away their celery. An inexpensive, my dehydrator was not expensive at all. Dehydrator is just, can save you a lot of money if you'll really get it out and use it. You have to use it. There are people that buy them and then they don't use them. It's not going to do you much good that way. Cut off any bad pieces again on that celery. And then, but you've got your breadcrumbs, your cornbread crumbs, your fruits and vegetables. For y'all, I hope you'll try some of these things, some of these ideas to save, waste not, want not. And I hope you'll watch my show, The Southern Gal Show, on Mupo TV, and let me know what you want me to cook next. We'll see you on the next show. Hello, this is Shirlene, and I host the Southern Gal Show, and I hope you enjoyed our show today as much as we enjoyed making it. I hope you'll join us for future shows, and if you like home cooking and milling grains and baking and good old Southern recipes, be sure and join us, like and subscribe to our channel, and be sure and watch us on Mupo TV at 3 p.m. Eastern on Sunday afternoons, and share, and we'd love to see you on the next show. Thanks, bye-bye.